Good morning, fish keepers. Cam here from thefishroom.co.nz. And not only are we saying, woo, it's Friday, woo, it's December. That's a good coffee. That's a really good coffee. Oh, that's going to get me through the day. So congratulations, everybody. We've made it to Friday and we've made it to December, which means we can all start ramping down, or some people ramping up, for the end of the year. So it's a good time. Happy days. All right. So this week has been incredibly hectic and incredibly busy for me in here. So I don't have a hell of a lot of stuff to talk about because I've been pretty much too busy just packing orders for week long as the short thing of what's been going on. So most of the orders that have come in from the Black Friday sale and earlier this week have been sent out. I think all the fish have gone except for the people that didn't want them sent this week. So if your fish, particularly the electric blue rams, have not arrived, please let me know and I'll track them and hopefully we can get to for the weekend. But they all should be there by now. They're all sent on Tuesday and or Wednesday, so there shouldn't be any issues there. And most of the dry goods and accessories and stuff like that and plants have all gone. There's a few that are going today. One of the orders got lost in transit that should have been here with me on Monday, and it didn't arrive until this morning. So the last few orders will be going out today, and that is pretty much everything done and under control. So thank you very much, everybody. It was a significantly large effort to get through all the orders. It was probably near on 200 or just under 200 orders that have gone out this week. So it's a significantly large amount. It has really put me under the pump. But I really appreciate it, so thank you very much. And I hope everybody enjoys the goodies that they bought for that. We have released some more fish this week. So just shortlist Royal Whiptails, which are locally bred. They're not imported. They're looking really good, really nice. Some pretty gorgeous ones in there. The Cobalt Blue Gouramis, absolutely amazing. Most beautiful blue on a gourami. A little bit fiery, all males, but they are absolutely stunning. The Sunset Flame / Flame Gouramis, they're also looking really good, more of a red colour, also looking really, really helpful. We'll have some bedders released hopefully today or over the weekend. I'm just trying to work out which way to list them on the website. We've also got a better listing, but there's different tails. There's some crown tails, some blue and whites, and something else coming off the top of my head. But it's slightly different tail types to what we had, so I'm not sure if we're just going to do a complete new listing for them or just put them all under the same bidder and then just different variation with the photo that we can produce for that. Good morning, Shelley, and good morning, Brian. How are you both doing? And Ember Tetras are looking absolutely phenomenal as well. They have been released and they're due to come out. And we did have our Cardinals get released this week, but they've all been sold. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. So like we've got, say, 3 blue and whites, just name them 1, 2, 3. So the listing is for better, and then the variation is better blue and white 1, blue and white 2, and then a photo of each of them was kind of what I was thinking as well. Just a matter of then trying to find a really good photo of said better that we're putting up. So I just need to work through that one. I don't really want to use stock photos for the bedders because people that are really into them are looking for particular traits and tails, particular colorations, that sort of thing, and I don't think it's right to do that for them. Unlike a neon tetra, for example, which is a neon tetra regardless which way you look at it. So yeah, that's probably what we'll do, or possibly buy individual fish. I'm not entirely sure just yet. That might be a little bit too much work. I'm not sure. I'll work through that today. I haven't had a lot of chance to do packing all week, sorry. And yes, they are an absolute bugger to get pictures of. So I actually do have some clear plastic containers. So I might put some tank water into there, chuck them into there, and try and get a photo that way. We'll see. It might be. I'll work it out. Same for me to do today. Green Terrors we've got as well. They're absolutely stunning. There is a breeding pair of Green Terrors in there. Yeah, shoot video freeze frame. That's a good option too. So there's breeding pair of Green Terrors. The Green Terrors aren't really our wheelhouse. It's not kind of what we're looking to sort of maneuver into, just happen to stumble across some and pick them up. So if you're interested in the bigger American fish, the green terriers are looking absolutely phenomenal, and they're well worth the money for them. And yeah, the sooner they're gone, the more we can get some of the stuff we're more interested in sort of stocking. Plenty of German rams as well. They're looking absolutely gorgeous. Some very nice colours coming through with them as well. Very happy with them. They're local bred as well, not imported, but they're looking very, very nice. They're well and truly worth a go. And next week, we're going to have a lot of really, really stunning imported male guppies coming through. There's about 2 dozen of them. They look absolutely phenomenal. There are some gorgeous colours, some gorgeous yellows, and some gorgeous reds on them. So if you're a guppy fan, next week will be the time to look at buying them because they are absolutely cool. Well done on your quarries, corridor spawning. Good work. So that's what we've got as far as new stuff that come through or coming through. I'm not certain if we'll end up getting more fish between now and the end of the year. It depends on how well I can clear out the tanks, get them all cleaned up, get the next lot of fish coming in, and whether that times well before the couriers start going crazy and wholesalers stop selling. So we'll see how we go with that. I might be able to get another order in, which will work us through to the start of the beginning of next year. We'll just see how we go with that. And on that note, I'm very carefully watching and monitoring courier times. So far, they're still good. I'm speaking to most of the couriers that come in and out every day, and they're saying they're definitely feeling the effects of what is essentially Black Friday and Christmas. It's coming up. So it won't be too far away before the couriers begin getting delays. Like I said, I'm monitoring that pretty closely, and we'll make a cut-off date very soon for sending things like snails, fish, and plants, because the last thing we want is them stuck in transit for too long. Plants can generally handle a lot longer than what fish can. I'm very confident that the fish can handle 2, possibly 3 days if they need to, but I'd rather them not if possible. And I know most plants can handle for the best part of the week. Again, would rather not. So I'm just keeping a very close eye on that. I think last year it was about 2 weeks before Christmas we cut off fish, and I think it was 1 week before Christmas we cut off the plants, and that's when it went absolutely crazy. So just keeping a very close eye on that. So be aware that will be coming very, very soon. So when it does, it does. And on that note, as of next year, we're going to be changing our shipping with what we do, in particular with the plants. If I was a little bit more prepared, I'd show you what we were doing, because I have got them just sitting out there, but I wasn't prepared enough. So as of next year, we'll be unfortunately having to charge for our plant shipping. So obviously it's currently free shipping. The reason we will be charging is it's going to be costing us a lot more to do it. I can use this as an example. So for a very long time, I've been trying to find boxes that will fit inside the courier satchels, because the courier satchels go overnight and boxes go 2 to 3 days, and I was trying to get the plants to everybody as quick as possible, which is why we continued in the satchels. I could not find a box for the life of me that would fit. The height's always just too much to push out the bags. And then I was looking for some eco-friendly stuff, and all of a sudden I found a solution that worked. So I got a couple and did a few tests with them, sent a few plants around the place, actually sent them up to Cameron at the aquarium project for him to give me his very brutal honest feedback. We sent a few up there. The first couple didn't work. Second couple got a little better. We kind of got where we needed to go, and they fit inside the satchels. So as of next year, we had to use fully recyclable boxes, and we're still wrapping them in plastic, but the plastic is also compostable and recyclable, and the bags that they go in as well is compostable and recyclable. So every single part of the process you can either compost or recycle. So that's the satchels they come in, you just got to take the label off. The box that they come in is completely compostable or recyclable, and the bag that goes inside that is completely compostable and recyclable as well. So obviously this is going to be costing a lot more money than what we are doing at the moment. And so I'm sure you can imagine selling a $5 bunch of plants can't absorb too much of that before it becomes unabsorbable, basically. So we're going to have to be charging for our plant shipping, essentially. But we're getting a better product in return, so to speak. So they need to be in the plastic bag, otherwise they don't hold the moisture. They dry out really quickly, and they literally look like arse the next day. So they have to be in that plastic bag. We needed to use something that fits into the satchel, and I really wanted something that could be completely compostable or recyclable, because I just think that's the right thing to do, basically. A lot of people use like your plastic takeaway containers, which to my understanding are now illegal to be used in New Zealand. Law came out about a month or so ago. So I think that isn't an option anymore anyway. And I also found with them, if you put them in a plastic bag, it was fine. But if you didn't put them in a plastic bag, if the plastic container got crushed, they dried out as well. Again, a substandard product, and was making people upset and annoyed. And also sometimes when the plants themselves were bigger, they wouldn't fit in as well. So with these recyclable, compostable containers, there's actually quite a large range of them, and they can fit a significantly large amount or a larger size plant in. So we'll have a bit of variety there, and they can still go into the bigger satchels. So everything kind of works out quite nicely for that. So I haven't confirmed the exact price we'll be charging for plants, but there will be a charge for delivery of plants coming up. So bear that in mind. So get the plants basically while you can for shipping for free, because it's not going to last too much longer. And I'm umming and ahhing about whether or not we start charging on dry goods as well. Shipping continuously goes up, both into me and out to me. So it's becoming harder and harder to absorb. So I'll just, over the Christmas break, I'll continue to monitor that and see how we go. Again, if we're going to have to charge for shipping, I would like to increase the product that people are receiving, as opposed to just chucking in a satchel. So it might be a case, again, trying to find boxes that, like, bottled stuff slot in quite nicely, and then you get a box as opposed to something else. So that's in the mind, because it is beginning to get really, really tight with those margins, and just got to do what you got to do. But if we are going to charge for the shipping on that, then I want to increase the product that people are getting, essentially. So we'll see how that goes. That's a job for me over the Christmas break, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, you're right, Shelley. Everyone else does charge for shipping. It's quite normal. Yeah, I just like the idea of not having to charge for shipping, just so like people walking into the shop, you don't have to charge for shipping when you pick it up off the shelf. It was the same kind of concept that I tried to apply as much as I could, and I even tried to work out a way of being able to do free shipping on live fish, which was just absolutely impossible, but I tried to work it anyway. So yeah, for me, it was always a case of, well, if you can walk into another shop and pick it up for free, then, you know, why should we be charging you to do that if you're buying off our website and you know, supporting us? So that was always the mindset. But you know, started it nearly 2 years ago, and shipping's gone up significantly since then. Like I said, both in and out, and so yeah, may not be able to continue to maintain, but we'll see how we go. So that's that one. This week we got some Echinodoros Paviflorus, beautiful little foreground sword plant. I absolutely love them. They're normally very, very limited. Maybe they come out once or twice a year. Nice size. Again, unprepared, could have bought some to show you them. They're a nice size. I can't remember if I got 20 or 25 of them. Either way, they normally sell it really quickly, and we've sold about half of them already anyway. So if you want some, please be quick with them. They are stunning. I absolutely love them. I've bought two for myself because I like them so much. I've got a couple. I've got one scattered, one under the shop tank, and I've got one out the back already. Yeah, I love them. They're one of my favorite sword plants. They're just really small and compact, and they're a fantastic little plant. So yeah, get them up to them. They're a beautiful green color. They stay nice and lush and green. They are a little bit harder to grow compared to like Amazon swords or whatnot. They really do love some really rich, enriched substrate. But give them that and a decent amount of light, and they're good to go. Yeah, I'm sure you're the same as plenty of other people. Happy to pay some more so you don't have to deal with people. I totally understand that. Christmas break obviously is coming. I know this is a very Christmas theme, but we are in December, so it is what it is. So the Christmas break is coming. We'll be closed for a week. It's probably likely to be the 23rd, which I think is a Friday, and then come back on the Monday or the Tuesday after New Year's, depending on how the stat holidays fall. the website itself will still be open. I'll still be coming in every day that's not a stat day. So every day couriers are running to pack any orders that I've got to pack. Coming in pretty much every day, feeding the fish, checking them, inspecting them, all that kind of stuff as well. So I'll be here. But the shop itself will be closed most probably between the 24th, which I think is a sad day, through to the 4th or the 5th or something like that. I haven't quite confirmed it, but that's looking like what we're going to do just that week in between the stat holidays and everything. I absolutely need a break, and over the week period that we closed down, I have a really deep dive and look at what's worked well for us this year, what hasn't worked well for us. John and I get together a couple of times, plan out the next 6 months for the social media side of it, and get that working. So yeah, it's not that it's not working. It's just trying to make sure we're providing the best possible service and the best possible experience for everybody, and just need a bit of time to do it. So that's what's happening between that time. And I think last but not least that I've got on my list here is that our podcast is coming out again today. So today's podcast, we are featuring Yuri from Plico Ceramics. We spoke to them, it feels like 6 months ago. So obviously we supply the Plico ceramics themselves. Very, very cool bits of aquarium decor. Really natural looking. I personally really love them. Using them out the back here. We've got a few bristle nose beginning to fan in the caves at the moment, so I really do like them. And so we've got his podcast coming out today. So if you weren't aware, we release a podcast every other week. And between every other week, we have a guest on this Friday coffee date with us. So the Friday coffee date turns into our podcast. And on that note, there was another thing I forgot. There will no more guests for the rest of the year, purely because it is December. We've already started lining up guests for next year. The first one that we've got lined up, I'm pretty stoked to be talking to. Breeds a lot of fish, also a retail store operator, so that'll be a really good time. And I'm in communication with several other people, just trying to make sure we can arrange the right timing for everybody from around the world and all that kind of stuff. So just taking a little break with the guests because it's pretty much Christmas time. The blackworms are going. I haven't had enough time this week to really... No, it's not Rodney, but that's a good option. I haven't really had a lot of time this week in the last little while to really focus on them. I guess I'm maintaining them as opposed to trying to get them going. But once I'm finished with this packing, everything will be kind of finished this week. We're back to a more normal routine thing. I don't have to be here at 6 o'clock every day to try and catch up with everything. So, next week we'll be pushing that through a little bit. I've got substrate sitting at home that I haven't bought in, so I'm going to try seeking for it because it's quite sharp. And I've got another wee tub that I've got going on as well that I'm going to move over for as well. So hopefully get 2 colonies going. So if one does crash for some reason or another, we're good to go. Same as what we're doing with the Daphnia. One of them is definitely crashed, but because we've got 2 going, it's not been too bad. We've got 2 massive microworm colonies going. We've got 2 massive white worm colonies, which are really beginning to take off now, which I'm pretty excited about. So, doing them in groups of 2. We've got 4 or 5 vinegar eels going now as well. So, just a little bit of just in case if something fails, we can come back to it. I forgive you, Cam. You're welcome, buddy. So they're going, definitely going. But I just need me to put a bit more love and attention into them, which I'll be doing next week. Same with all the rest of the live foods as well. I'm in the process of, believe it or not, being organised. I'm writing up notes about all the live food, what's working, what's not working, how to propagate them faster, what has worked, what hasn't. So hopefully, once they're going really nicely, it's a nice wee little spreadsheet that I can, or insert that I can put into all the boxes as well. Hey, this has worked for us. Give this a wee go, and you should be away golden sort of thing. So, bit of extra work, but a bit of fun times. Did we talk about this morning's? No, we didn't talk about this morning's incident, but I'll talk about it now that you brought it up. So, for the second time this week, I've flooded the back room. Both of them have been my mistakes. The first one, I left the hose in for too long. I kind of forgot that I was filling up a tank, which is pretty normal. And so water went everywhere. And not only did the water go everywhere, but there was a whole bunch of young bedders in there that we had dropped off earlier this week, and they went out with the water. So the bedders flopping all over the floor, and water went everywhere. So I dealt with that one. Very much a school error, but it happens far too often. But this morning's incident, I haven't shown everybody properly the video or the pictures of the big tank that I'm putting in behind me. I got it a few weeks back. It was leaking, so I got it for ridiculously cheap, so I was very, very happy with that. But today, they do bounce. They flip quite nicely into the nets to put them back in. Today I began the repair job for that. So two funny stories on the funny story. I went to Bunnings the other day. I thought I'll see if I can get like an assassin's tool, a couple of handles and some wire, and just rip it through that way, because I've really never enjoyed using knives or whatnot. So I asked the person for an assassin's tool, and they looked at me like, "What on earth are you doing?" Told them what I wanted. Got some wire. Turns out the wire was far too thick, was never going to work, so I wasted $25 there. Good times. I went into Bunnings again this morning to try and find a really decent knife. Spent, 15 minutes looking through the knife section. Great, got the knife that I wanted. Happy with that. And then I was looking at the tank, and I just happened to have my box opening knife in my hand. I just opened another carton stock that had come in, and I said, oh. So it slid just perfectly fine between the silicons, so I managed to use my box opening knife to do that. So again, wasted another $28 or so on a knife that I didn't need to spend. So good times. So I started ripping away the silicon, got the bracing off, good times, working along with the big piece on the outside of it. It's going good. Start stripping a bit more. Cool. It's working. I'm removing the seal. I'm happy with this. Yep, we're going well. Get the seal off. Yep, cool. Water's beginning to move. Get the glass out. Water just gushed everywhere all over me. I was like, why didn't I think that the water that was left in there was going to go everywhere? So it turns out that like a 2.5 meter tank with about 10 to 15 mil of water is still a significantly large amount of water that went all over the floor again. So yeah, twice this week I flooded out the back. Twice this week it's been absolutely my fault. So twice this week it's just given me a little bit of extra workload. So happy days. So thanks, Cameron, for exposing me for my rookie mistakes. It clearly was Friday, and I clearly hadn't had any caffeine in me at that time. So it's good time. So long story short, the floor got wet yet again. The glass pane is now out. I can clean it up, and I can begin sealing it up. And yeah, I won't be doing that today. Hopefully next week I'll be able to get some silicone there, get it all sealed up, and water test it again. Yeah, fingers crossed it holds water, and then we can chuck it back here. So definitely going to be a Frontosa tank. Once it's sealed, we'll look at filtration options. Probably going to be a sump because it makes sense. It's 750 or so litres, 2.5 metre long or something on those lines. So probably a sump, and I'm thinking I'll probably end up that wall there, drilling a hole through that and having a sump on the other side of that. So it's a little bit more quiet in here, but also the other room is going to be the enclosed room where we're holding fish, breeding fish, all that kind of stuff. So it'll keep it nice and warm, so a little less need for heaters, but also give really, really easy access for getting into that sump as well. So the main goal is that one. I'm running Frontosa, probably a really nice big group of them, and then I'll weed out a few mouths as they get bigger. Thinking about some Sinodontists to go with them because I really like them, but I just don't know if they'll be too energetic for the Frontosa. That's where I'm glaring with, and they'll probably be the only fish that go into that tank. Trying to mimic Tanganyika as much as possible. Yeah, that's crossed my mind as well. I've got all the room in the world to play with if we put the sump out the back. Not limited height, not limited in width or anything like that. So I can really play around with something quite spectacular if I want to. I would like to grow some sort of plants out of the tank as well as probably out of the sump. I'd like to make the goal is to have the tank itself to be absolutely crystal clear. I want it to be as clear as gin water, essentially. Really, really pushing my boundaries of keeping an aquarium crystal clear, pushing the boundaries of some of the products that we sell. I know it'd be quite hard if we use sort of three or four different products, but just really trying to work out the best sort of filtration to make that water as sparkly as possible. yeah, so that's kind of the plan, to try and make it as pristine as sparkly as possible. So yeah, plenty of sponges, possibly a UV filter, possibly some Purigen, possibly some K1 media. Like I've looked into lots and lots of different options. Yep, crystal clear is in the mix as well. So I've looked at lots of options. Once I finalise what I'm going to do for the design of the sump to work around with that, then we can go from there. Watched plenty of sump videos. I've read plenty of information on various ways of using a sump. Using a sump is not foreign to me. They're pretty basic in theory, but it's trying to make sure I get the water as crystal clear as possible. And I'll probably end up putting an automated water change system on it as well, because I'm going to go through all this effort. Why not? So that's where that's at. I'm looking forward to that project. It's definitely something to get my teeth stuck into. First things first, get this tank sealed, get it watertight, and then look at options from there. So I'm hoping to have a really nice 3D background. Again, really trying to mimic Tanganyika as much as possible. Some nice big sort of chunks of rocks, and probably only 3 or 4 bigger rocks and a couple of small ones onto the substrate. So it's a really, really open environment for the frontosa. Again, I've been reading plenty of books. I'll do some more reading before we get further, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning. And then from there, if I can get some plants coming up, so it's kind of like the shoreline sort of theme going up behind me. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. All these things take time for money, so it's all a long-term thing. But we'll see how we go. As far as feeding them, if we can get some dry food in, I'm really hoping that get hold of some NLS, some New Life Spectrum. I think it's got to be one of the best dry foods available, particularly for African cichlids. I'm a giant fan, so that'll be in the mix there. There'll obviously be bits of live food as there's smaller brown shrimp, daphne, all that kind of stuff. And as they get a little bigger, we'll possibly look at doing something slightly bigger, maybe things like mealworms or something like that. So we're getting a little bit of that, maybe some crystal shrimp, that sort of thing, and then the frozen mixes and rapashi. So it'll probably be a fairly standard mix to what I normally feed. But I think that's going to be key as well. So yeah, earthworms are fun. I just can't really bother growing earthworms, although I've got a couple of worm farms going on. So yeah, that's where that's at. Just really going to try and replicate Tanganyika as much as possible, trying to give them the best possible conditions they can to thrive, so they don't look that dark, dull, unhappy look that some frontosas get when they're crammed in with like mbuna and things like that. I really want to get them that really light, vibrant white with the tinges of blue through them. So that's the plan, at least. That's the goal. We'll see how we go. High chance we'll be sitting here next year and the tank won't be sitting behind me. It'll still be sitting out there, but we'll see how we go. So that's the plan. It's all written down. I'm not going to chuck a whole bunch of random grey and haps in there. So that's where we're going with that. So that's one of the display tanks we're working on. That one there. We've got another 3 being worked on in the shop. We're just waiting for a stand to arrive. The wall is empty. Once the stand arrives, we'll have 3 display tanks going on in there. Going to be using the Blue Planet 90 centimeters, 150 litre tanks. So they're all planned as well. There'll be a dwarf Tanganyikan, dwarf Tanganyikan tank. There's going to be a really happy, fun, colourful tank with platies and bright, colourful plants, real plants, not fake plants, and just bright, colourful, active, just a really fun community type tank. And then I'll be doing a blackwater tank as well. So I think having 3 completely different spectrums on one stand will work really well. The stand being built is going to have a couple of shelves in it. So we'll have, I'm not doing a pirate ship. So we've got shelves in it. So we'll have some rocks and some wood and stuff like that underneath it as well. So it'll kind of work with the botanical side of it, the same thing. So trying to maximize the available space, having some cool display tanks and some cool things available to buy underneath, wood and whatnot. So that's all taken care of. And then in the far corner, I'll walk through all this on Monday when we do the walkthrough. I've got a dual trigon coming along, which is a corner tank. So it's going to go into the corner. Unfortunately, I was trying to get the dark wood grain to go with all the stands. The overseas supplier couldn't supply that, so it's going with the light wood, which is a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. And so that's going to be a black water tank as well. So that'll be coming in next year as well. It's, I believe it's been ordered on the way into the country at the moment. So I'm going to be doing another black water tank, probably theme that one towards South American, where the one on the stand will probably be themed towards Asia and doing things like loaches. So the big one in the corner, it will be more based around South American fish, possibly some angelfish, maybe some corridors and some tetras or something like that. Throw a bunch of those neons in. Yeah, maybe neons, maybe cardinals, but something along those lines. So yeah, and then once that's up and running, again, have some plants growing up out of it, because I really like that out of the water look. I think it really cements a lot of fish tanks. Like, I really think it works really well. I'm not doing glow in the dark jellyfish cam. Stop. John, keep his band camera. I'm not putting up with this junk anymore. That's just not okay behavior, buddy. No glow in the dark jellyfish. Yes, I really like that out of the water, in the water, having the roots dangling down. So with the corner tank, I was joking. You don't have to. I'm sorry, I was joking. I was joking. You can unblock them, I swear. Yeah, so the root tangles coming down, and then like the wooden root tangles, and then roots coming in and through as well. That's the plan with that, and then shelves above with some plants coming off it and stuff like that. So we will see how we go. Yep. So that's pretty much it. That's all I've really got. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, so the caffeine's done its thing. Cameron, I'll unblock you in a minute. I didn't mean for John to really block you. I was taking the piss. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, so that's it. I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to pack some more orders. So hope you all have a really good weekend. Have a good one, team. Happy fish keeping. And I've got to go smooth some things off with Cameron. See you later.